It was 1970, a bright summer afternoon at Disneyland, where families laughed, children ran through the park, and the air was filled with excitement. Among the crowd was 12-year-old Sarah Whitman, visiting with her parents. Sarah was last seen near the entrance of the haunted mansion, holding a stuffed toy she had won earlier that day. But when her parents turned around, she was gone. The search was immediate. Park security combed through every ride, every corner, but Sarah had vanished, without a trace. No witnesses, no clues, just an eerie silence. Days turned into weeks, then months. The case grew cold, and Sarah's disappearance became one of Disneyland's most haunting mysteries. Then, 20 years later, after a devastating flood in a nearby town, a farmer made a discovery that would change everything. 20 years had passed since Sarah Whitman's disappearance at Disneyland. Her case had long gone cold, leaving behind only whispers and speculation. Then, in 1990, a devastating flood swept through a small farming town near Disneyland. As the waters receded, a local farmer was inspecting his land when he stumbled upon something buried in the mud, something that shouldn't have been there. It was a rusted metal box locked shut. Curious, the farmer pried it open, expecting old tools or forgotten belongings. But inside he found a collection of items that sent chills down his spine, including a stuffed toy, eerily similar to the one Sarah had been holding the day she vanished. The discovery reignited the mystery. How had Sarah's belongings ended up miles away from Disneyland? And more importantly, was this a clue to what really happened to her? The discovery of Sarah's stuffed toy inside the rusted metal box sent shockwaves through the town. But that wasn't the only thing inside. Alongside the toy, the farmer found old photographs, some faded beyond recognition. But one picture stood out. It showed a young girl standing in front of Disneyland's haunted mansion, holding the same stuffed toy. The police were called in immediately. How had Sarah's belongings ended up miles away from Disneyland, buried beneath flood debris? And more importantly, who had put them there? As investigators examined the box further, they found a name scratched into the metal, a name that had never been connected to Sarah's case before. And just as they were about to track down the person behind it, another shocking discovery was something that would change everything. As investigators examined the rusted metal box, they noticed something scratched into its surface. A name. It was faint, almost erased by time, but still readable. The name belonged to a man who had worked at Disneyland in the 1970s, around the time of Sarah Whitman's disappearance. He had been a maintenance worker, responsible for repairs in the haunted mansion and other attractions. The police tracked down his last known address, but when they arrived, they found an abandoned house, untouched for years. Inside, they discovered old newspaper clippings, all about missing children. Had this man been involved in Sarah's disappearance? Had he left behind more clues? Just as investigators were piecing things together, they uncovered something hidden beneath the floorboards, something that would change everything inside the abandoned house. Investigators uncovered something hidden beneath the floorboards, a locked wooden chest covered in dust and decay. Breaking it open, they found old journals filled with handwritten notes detailing strange activities at Disneyland during the 1970s. The entries described late-night movements, restricted areas, and mentions of missing children, including Sarah Whitman's name. One entry stood out. It was dated the night Sarah disappeared. The writer mentioned seeing a girl being led away from the haunted mansion by two men, one of whom was a Disneyland employee. Had Sarah been taken by someone working inside the park? Had her disappearance been covered up? Just as investigators were piecing things together, they found one final clue inside the chest. Something that would change everything. As investigators sifted through the abandoned house, they uncovered one last clue. A hidden compartment inside the wooden chest. Inside, they found a key, old and rusted, along with a folded map. The map showed a location near Disneyland, marked with an X. It wasn't a place that appeared on any official records. It was off the grid, hidden from public view. Had this been where Sarah was taken? Was this the final piece of the puzzle? The police wasted no time. They followed the map to the location, deep in an overgrown area where they found an abandoned structure, one that had been sealed shut for decades. As they forced the doors open, they discovered something inside, something that would change everything. Following the map's directions, investigators arrived at a hidden structure buried deep in an overgrown area near Disneyland. The building had been sealed shut for decades, its doors rusted and locked. As they forced their way inside, they found a room filled with old furniture, scattered belongings, and dust-covered toys, items that seemed to belong to children. Then, in the corner, they discovered a small wooden chair with a name carved into it. Sarah Whitman. Had Sarah been kept here after she vanished? Had other children been involved? The eerie silence of the room suggested a dark past, one that had been hidden for years. Just as investigators were piecing things together, they uncovered one final clue, something that would change everything. Inside the abandoned structure, investigators uncovered a hidden underground room, untouched for decades. The air was thick with dust, and the walls were lined with old, decaying furniture. Then in the corner, they found a locked trunk, its surface scratched and worn. Breaking it open, they discovered personal belongings, clothes, toys, and even a journal. The journal belonged to Sarah Whitman. Its final entry was dated the night she disappeared. In shaky handwriting, she described being led away from Disneyland by two men, one of whom she recognized as a park employee. The truth was undeniable now. Sarah had been taken, hidden away for years. But the biggest question remained: what happened to her after that? As investigators pieced together the final clues, they realized one last shocking detail, something that would change everything.
We're